You spend weeks building your outdoor space. New furniture, potted flowers, string lights. Then dusk hits, and so do the mosquitoes. Every single evening. You reach for the spray, light the citronella candle, watch the smoke drift the wrong direction. None of it really works. Meanwhile, you're spending money every season on products that offer temporary relief at best. What if the solution has been growing in gardens for centuries, costs less than a single bottle of repellent, and never needs to be replaced? 10 plants. That's the whole list. Plants that mosquitoes actively avoid, not because you spray them, but because their natural oils disrupt the insect's sensory systems at a chemical level. Several of them may already be growing wild in your region right now, completely free. Plant number 7 almost certainly is. Stay with this, because without it, mosquitoes own your yard again this summer. Before the chemical industry turned insect repellent into a consumer product, plant knowledge was practical, everyday knowledge. Home gardens were designed strategically, not just for the kitchen, but as living protection zones. People knew which plants to put near a doorway, which ones to grow along a path, which ones to bruise before sitting outside at dusk. Thymol, nepetalactone, linalool, compounds that now appear on the labels of commercial repellents, were originally extracted from plants that get no shelf space at your local garden center. That knowledge never disappeared. It just stopped being convenient for anyone trying to sell you something. Plant 1, horse mint, a native North American wildflower that most people walk right past. It grows like it has something to prove: fast, drought-tolerant, unbothered by poor soil. The active compound is thymol, the same substance used in commercial insect repellents. Mosquitoes detect it and immediately change course. Plant it in full sun with decent drainage and leave it alone. It spreads through underground runners, forming natural barrier zones across your yard within a single season. The pink, cream, and yellow blooms with purple-tinged bracts attract bees and butterflies while driving off exactly the insects you want gone. Quick tip: crush a few leaves and rub them on your wrists and ankles before heading outside. Free repellent straight from the bed. Plant 2, catnip yes, the same plant that sends cats into euphoric acrobatics. The active compound is nepetalactone, and peer-reviewed research confirms it is a highly effective mosquito repellent. In airborne spatial tests, it outperformed DEET at equivalent concentrations. As a contact repellent, DEET performs somewhat better, though catnip oil remains a strong natural alternative that requires more frequent reapplication. Growing plants attract cats far less than the dried, crushed version, so don't let that stop you. Plant it along pathways, around seating areas, or in pots on the deck. Every time someone brushes past it, those oils release into the air. Grows 2 to 3 feet tall with lavender-like flowers all summer. Average soil, some sun, occasional water. The plant handles the rest. Plant 3, marigolds. Marigolds produce a group of sulfur-based compounds called thiophenies, alpha-terthional being the most active, along with aromatic terpenes, all of which act as natural insect deterrents. Mosquitoes find the scent intolerable. People just smell a garden in summer. Pot them near entrances, windows, and outdoor seating to create perimeter barriers mosquitoes won't cross. French and Mexican varieties carry the strongest scent potency. Water regularly, deadhead spent blooms to extend flowering. As a bonus, marigolds also repel aphids, whiteflies, and certain beetles. One plant type, multiple layers of protection. Plant 4, lemon balm, part of the mint family, which means it grows with the same enthusiastic energy. Keep it in containers to control the spread. The leaves smell like lemon candy. To mosquitoes, that scent signals danger, and they avoid it entirely. Place containers strategically around your outdoor living areas. Crush a leaf and rub it on exposed skin for free, pleasant-smelling protection that costs nothing once the plant is established. Tolerates partial shade, making it useful for the tricky corners of any garden. Can also be harvested for tea, cooking, or homemade bug spray. Plant 5, basil. Not all basil works equally well. Lemon, lime, and cinnamon basil varieties tend to contain higher concentrations of citral and linalool, compounds strongly associated with mosquito repellency, compared to standard sweet basil. Placed in pots near an outdoor kitchen or dining table, those oils release every time you cook or brush past the plant. Needs warmth and sun, otherwise low maintenance. Pinch off flower heads to keep the plant producing leaves. Money-saving tip: buy one plant, then propagate it. Cut 4-inch stems, place them in water until roots form, then plant out. One plant becomes 4 in about 3 weeks. Plant 6, lavender, linalool, and camphor. The compounds responsible for lavender's signature scent are repellent to mosquitoes. They won't fly through areas where lavender is in bloom. Full sun, excellent drainage, minimal attention once established. Lavender suffers more from overwatering than neglect. Harvest stems at full bloom, dry them, and hang bundles near doorways or windows as a natural repellent that doubles as home decor. Thrown into an outdoor fire, the smoke carries protective oils across your entire space. One annual pruning is all it needs, then it blooms and protects for years. Plant 7. Wild Bee Balm, Wild Bergamot, also known as wild bergamot or bee balm. Here's what makes this one different. It grows wild across much of North America, which means free plants for anyone who knows where to look. The essential oils it produces contain compounds similar to those in citronella. Published bioassays on Monarda, essential oils confirm strong repellent activity against common mosquito species. Mosquitoes detect the scent from several feet away and actively change direction. Grows 3 to 4 feet tall, blooms all summer in pink, purple, or red. Plant 3 to 5 together and you create a serious deterrent zone. As a native perennial, it handles heat, drought, and poor soil without complaint. Divide established clumps every 3 years. One plant becomes a dozen over time. Plant 8. Rosemary. Rosemary produces aromatic oils, primarily camphor and 1,8-cineole, that have been documented to deter mosquitoes. Grow it in pots so you can reposition it depending on where you're spending time. Next to the grill tonight, beside the dining table tomorrow. Place fresh rosemary sprigs directly on hot coals or into a fire pit, and the smoke distributes the protective oils across your entire outdoor space. Full sun, well-drained soil. In colder climates, treat it as an annual or bring pots inside for winter. Harvest it regularly for cooking. That also encourages bushy growth and higher oil production. Plant 9. Pennyroyal Pouligone, one of the most potent natural mosquito-repelling compounds documented in scientific literature. Mosquitoes avoid pennyroyal entirely. Critical safety note: pennyroyal oil is highly toxic. Medical authorities, including the NIH and poison control centers, document cases of severe liver and kidney failure, seizures, and death linked to its ingestion, even in small amounts. The essential oil must never be applied to skin or used as a topical repellent. Pregnant women, children, and pets must have no contact with any part of this plant. The living plant, used strictly as a garden border, carries lower risk, but given the documented severity of pennyroyal toxicity, use it only in spaces completely inaccessible to children and animals, and never handle it without gloves. Stays low, typically 6 to 16 inches tall, and spreads to cover wide areas within a season. Plant 10. Alliums, garlic, onions, chives. Garlic, onions, chives, and their ornamental relatives all produce organosulfur compounds that have shown insect deterrent properties, particularly against soil pests, aphids, and certain flying insects in concentrated extracts. Ornamental allium varieties produce spectacular spherical flowers on tall stems, function and beauty in the same plant. They bloom in late spring and early summer, precisely when mosquito populations begin exploding. Garlic and onions planted around vegetable beds protect the crop while contributing to the garden's overall aromatic deterrent profile. Chives work well as border plants and stay green year-round in milder climates. Plant bulbs in autumn, full sun, good drainage. They multiply on their own, paying back the initial investment year after year. Layering is everything. Marigolds and basil near the patio, lavender and rosemary along walkways, horse mint and bee balm in the garden beds. Overlapping scent zones create areas mosquitoes simply won't enter. Group plants by type rather than spreading them thin as single specimens. 3 basil plants together release significantly more protective oils than one plant in isolation. Position plants upwind. If the prevailing breeze comes from the west, place your mosquito-repelling plants on the western edge of your seating area. The wind carries the oils directly to where you are. Occasionally crush leaves before guests arrive. It refreshes the barrier and maximizes effectiveness. One last thing, mosquitoes breed in standing water. These plants repel the adults with precision, but empty the saucers under your pots, clear out your gutters, flip over anything that collects rainwater, take away their breeding sites. Do both, and one season changes everything. No chemical cocktail on subscription, no recurring cost. Go outside, plant. Nature does the rest.